Very good evening. Welcome to the Cobra sessions, Cobra Friday sessions right here at Cobra TV on our YouTube and Facebook platform. I'm Rat Arash Saleh, alongside with me, my regular co-host Dylan, and welcome to a special session for us this Friday, because not only are we going to be talking about football, we're actually going to be amalgamating.
Did you say football?
Rugby. Did I say football? Okay. Oh my God. On a Friday. That's like, oh dear. That's going to be like, and it's record. Okay, that's another one for the kangaroo court. Did I just say that? Apologies. I'm already in trouble. So not only are we going to be talking about rugby, football, we're going to be talking about one of the sport, because we've got something really special that's coming up. That's probably going to be starting by 2021. We are going to be having something that's so different to what we usually have at the rugby club. But before that, let's do some house announcements. Oh my God, did I just say football? Okay. Anyway, for those of you who
breathe.
excited.
You're a pro at this.
So for those of you who would like to go to the club, of course, the CMCO is in place at the moment. But those who are living in the PJ area and within the Section 14 area, our restaurant is open from 12 to 10 p.m. But do strictly follow the SOPs. We do have our lunch promos still going on, and this is between 12 and 2 p.m. every day except for Sunday and maybe Saturday.
Let me just correct that.
Yes.
Sundays they are open. They are open, but from 3 to 7 only.
3 to 7. Oh, so no lunch promos on Sundays then. So the lunch promos, So lunch promos from 12 to 2 p.m. And of course, you'll get a 10% discount on all food items, plus a free iced lemon tea when you order any of our mains. Now, in terms of the training, for those of you who want to know what's going on, up to there is no training until further notice at all. And for those of you who are eager to do so, of course, you won't be able to do, because our pitch is already locked up, and there won't be anything going on until then. Now, of course, in terms of what we're going to be discussing today, well, I'm quite excited about it, because as for those of you who have been to the club, you've noticed that the complex is going under some renovations, and this has been going on since when, Dylan?
October. We started in October. The work started in October, but I mean, obviously there's the physical works, but this has been the plans for quite some time already. So it's just now that the actual physical execution is taking place. So
so actually the whole reason for this, the whole reason for the show that we're having, which is very different to the usual shenanigans that we go up to, is because we're expanding in a very, very different way. And of course, we're going to have the guests on board. Plus, Dylan is very much in charge.
I'll put it in a very simplistic term. What's happening at the club?
Are you saying that rugby players are stupid or what?
Oh, come on. You're the one that said football, okay? You said football.
I know, but that's because we are simple people, We make mistakes. All right, go on then.
Without beating around the bush, okay, what happens is that the club has a sports complex facility, and for those who are familiar, we got a hall and gym and dorms. So the club's pretty much outsourced the whole. Has got a new person managing the place, which are all Cobra related guys. I think we're all more familiar, and basically introducing more sports. There are other facilities there, like for badminton, for squash. So, but obviously going forward, the club is trying to chart a new path for itself. So on that route that we brought in, they're going to set up a whole, not just a basketball court, but with the whole. Yeah, we'll get the guys in, but. Okay, you want to bring guys in?
Yeah, so excited. I want to talk about it and not have the guests on.
Okay, we're just going to upgrade the facilities, okay, yes. In a lot of ways. Okay. So, and that's a new chart. So, and we have our guests, which we can go deeper into it and talk about it, because it doesn't just mean about the sports facilities itself, but also the cultures and what it means to be a Cobra, to be a rugby club, and also what it means to be Cobra.
Right, hence the title "Cross Culture" for today's session. Now, of course, what Dylan's been trying to explain, been too excited to talk about it. We'll bring the guests on, and Dylan has very much is connected to all of us involved, including myself. So let's bring them on. The first one, he is the CEO of Airupthere Technologies. He was also an ex GM of the KL Dragons basketball team, and he was a commissioner of Stats Play League.
Statsports.
God, see, I'm gonna get this right one of these days. Statsports League. Let's welcome onto the show Andri Reza, or fondly known as Dre. Hey, Dre, thank you very much for coming in and joining us on the show.
Thanks very much, Rashid, for that introduction. It is Statsports, and thank you guys for having me here.
Okay, great.
Don't forget about Dre.
Yes, Dre. See, we won't forget about Dre. Now, our next guest, he's no stranger to the Cobra culture. Cobra culture. You've seen him everywhere. You see his son everywhere more often than not. He is currently the GM of the Malaysia Women's Rugby team. He is also part of the EXCO of Selangor Rugby Union, and is one of our Cobra legends. Well, let's welcome him onto the show. Reluctantly, TJ Tan. Hey TJ, how are you?
Hi guys, I'm okay.
So as just to give you a quick briefing, this show is very relaxed. So even if you suddenly shout out things like football or swear, it doesn't matter. So we're not really bothered, because it's our platform and it's our show. And a lot of the Cobra boys will let you know.
Right, I've taken note about the football issue just now.
But I will check, actually. I'm going to check at the beginning of the show.
No, we're not going to let you go.
No, I know, but I will check that out. Anyway, all right, let's get the show on the road. Why are these gentlemen with us? Now, Dylan, you can quickly explain, and before I get into the nitty-gritty of the questions.
Well, I think we're 40 shows in, so you're more familiar than what Cobra Rugby is all about. So, but then going forward, yeah, we're trying to, and the clubs. I mean, it's well, we all know how old the club is. But anyway, so the thing is, when the club's doing upgrades and stuff, it's not just about upgrading the sports facilities and bringing new sports in. Of course, you bring more people, but also integrating the right culture in place. And then also not just setting the right culture in place, we also want to set a standard of excellence as well when it comes to sport, because as a rugby club, we've consistently pushed ourselves. Let's put it this way: last Tuesday, a rugby club was interviewing a rugby magazine, where it should be the other way around.
We're always pushing boundaries.
So we got to do it. We do things a bit different.
So okay, so I'll tell you, I'll push you slightly fast along the way. How did you decide and let's get you connected with our guests. Okay, you don't only just have interest in terms of sports with Cobra and rugby, but in your younger days, you were very much into basketball. So this is a picture of you in Manchester. So explain a bit about this, how this came about, because and then and the connection now with I suppose, as you know, with Dre.
well, that was my university picture, but I started pretty much sports in boarding school. It was either rugby or basketball. So those are two sports I dabbled a lot in. And this was in university, my second year of uni there. We went to the Malaysia Games in Nottingham, where all the universities around the UK competed, and that is the Manchester Malaysian basketball team. There was just 6 of us. We didn't even we just went with white t-shirts and we won the whole thing.
Okay.
So yeah, that's pretty much that's about that story. But I mean, the bug is still stuck till then.
Okay, so let's go forward towards how the complex idea came about. As most of you may or may not know, the company that you are heading at the moment, Read My Game, has now a tenancy agreement with the club, or the rugby club, for what 3 + 2 years or something like that. Correct?
Yeah.
Okay, and to take over the running of the Cobra complex. Now, how was the idea mooted, and how did basketball? I'll get you and Dre to talk about this. What was the idea behind bringing basketball into the fold and to the idea?
I always wanted to have my own basketball court. Okay, no, it's pretty much sometimes it's like to have, for you to run a sports facility, as much as you have the sport, it's fine if you have the sport, and we have the hall and just enough space for it. But I think what's key here in the sense that this is where Dre comes to the picture. I mean, we've played basketball together for a fair bit, and of course,
yes,
Dre
as well.
That's doing the coaching gig together. So that's us coaching, we're trying to break open what it means to be basketball, because basketball, to some extent, is also culturally segregated in the country.
Right.
Yeah. So it's much like certain sports, like football or certain sports, is culturally segregated. So what we try to do, just much like how we do at Cobra Rugby Club, to open up. So basketball to open up. So hence this is where it kind of, I find that, for a successful court, you need to, for a successful sports facility to keep running, you need that sort of, I call it software, the right culture coming in, the right guys coming in, and something where you're not bound by the cultural, the current, I could say, whatever situation we're in now, cultural situation when it comes to the sport, and then just chart a new path from it, and that's open. Yeah, as long as you're passionate about the sport, this is the place for you to be, much like Cobra.
All right, so Dre, your involvement in this, obviously you mooted the idea, and then and the two of you have known each other. When it was the idea came about and it sprung to his mind and said, we want to do basketball in at Cobra. I mean, we've had conversations prior to this, obviously, because we've had our own meetings. But could you explain first what is it like? And he gave us an inkling of basketball in Malaysia. How is the basketball culture here in Malaysia? Looking more towards Klang Valley.
Sure. Well, before we get into it, I've known Dylan for, I think, about 15 years now, I think, maybe a little bit more. We've played together since then. I think even the name of the company comes, has it been longer than that?
For 17 years, I'd say. 17
years? There you go. See, 17 years, almost flies. 2 decades. Yeah. And just to say that the name of Read My Game actually came from him yelling at me. Oh, did I yell at you about something specifically about, follow what I'm trying to do and don't throw the ball away? I think that was one of the very first things that I remember saying to him specifically. So we've played together a long time, and I think when it comes to the idea behind the basketball court. We've had it like for ages. Like I said, Tilan's always wanted his own basketball court. We've always wanted one. When it comes to basketball in Malaysia in general, in the Klang Valley, a lot of it is like unfortunately segregated by along racial lines. It's an unfortunate nature of the sport. I think we see that a lot in most other sports as well, where there is always a predominant that is always marketed to specifically, and it's very hard. I know Malaysia has tried, and what we're trying to do as well is to be a part of that movement to try to overcome these decades-old barriers and get more people involved. And I think basketball should never, I mean, no sport should be racially segregated in any way. And basketball specifically, with the lack of, you know, reliable talent, we shouldn't be just looking at one particular pool of talent anyway. We should be looking throughout the whole of Malaysia. And that's why I think something like this, what we're doing with Cobra, is really going to be part of that journey towards including everybody.
Yeah, well, that's true, because, you know, being Sarawakian, there's a lot of basketball being played in Sarawak itself, because, you know, you're right, it's predominantly one race. But in terms of the makeup, so one thing that we discussed was, can basketball succeed? Because, you know, being a Cobra club, and I'll talk to TJ about this as well. Now, in terms of rugby, you know, Cobra TJ has always been at the forefront in terms of not just rugby as a club and a top team, but in terms of our development as well. Now, we've got a whole history of having a CIMB Foundation. We've always developed rugby from the grassroots, and we've had kids who've gone on to universities and gone on either to play or even manage and coach rugby. TJ, in terms of your experience, and now you have you also help develop women's rugby.
I was about to add on to that.
Yes, I know. So Cobra, for you, when this, and we'll move forward, when this Cobra complex idea happened, what was on your mind? What are your thoughts about how we can develop the rugby even further from a club's point of view?
Well, with us having the facilities, I think it's a very good time for us to make Cobra the center of excellence for rugby. We have the padang, we have the field, we have the complex, and with the present plan to extend the gym, and also having the MMA gym in the complex as well. Basketball.
Oops. Yeah.
So what we're going to do is the development of rugby is going to we're going to go to another level, whereby the focus on SNC can now be complete, you know, with the facilities and so on, and then the field as well. We have the field which is nearby our club, where our players can do the SNC and all the trainings. Now, in terms of development, our club, Cobra, also has Cobrex from junior level 4 to 16. And it's about time that we look at 16 to 20, where it's a progression from Cobrex to junior Cobra, and eventually to a senior team.
Yeah. Okay. So just bearing that in mind, sorry. Yeah, Dylan.
No, it just sparked me. One of the main reasons for doing it as well, because one of the things I really enjoyed is that I developed my skill set by going through multiple sports. I don't know whether you're going to ask that question, right? So in the sense, like
getting there.
Yeah. So in the sense, like I'll give one example, in the sense that sometimes someone questioned me why my passing control is pretty decent. I wouldn't say great. Or how I'm able to, you know, that video where I stole the ball from the KL Tigers pass?
You mean this one? Pass? It's amazing how it can read people's minds without them knowing what's going on, right? So you were talking about how you threw the ball. How you remember the way I threw? I was like, I knew we were going to talk about that because the way that you threw the ball was not uniquely rugby. So
no, it's not.
Yeah.
So,
it's not. It's very much. So let me just show the audience again. So there you go. All right.
I like the music. I like the music.
You're welcome.
Dre will call it threading the pass because he had to go past three big guys for Nico to catch the ball. So that's quite a common place
you even impressed Eugene. Look at he said non-kicking fly up. Well, actually, we weren't allowed to kick in that match anyway. Remember Eugene? I know you probably wanted to, but we weren't allowed to. Now, yes.
Come back to what Dylan said just now. I think it's a good integration because through MMA, our players, like in for example, our rugby players, they can improve their upper body strength.
Yes.
And then for the basketballers, if they want to improve on their SNC, they can follow our rugby programs. We can give them a soft approach to our trainings.
Thank you, Han.
Very light training, like carrying the tackle bags.
Yes.
And to top all this wraps up in a way that everybody's having fun at the same time. So you're more motivated, rather than you run 40 minutes, you got to run circuit suicides. You actually get to have some fun along the way, not realizing you're running suicides when you're just playing a basketball game.
All right. Okay. So for those of you who've just joined us, welcome to the Friday sessions on Cobra TV. Now we are talking about the title is cross culture, but we're actually talking about how the Cobra complex is undergoing not just a physical renovation, but in a cross-cultural renovation where we will be having not only rugby, obviously, at the club, improvement of rugby in terms of not just on field, but off field. We will have basketball in the hall. And also my involvement in that is not just rugby, but we'll also have an MMA gym and MMA involved in the Cobra sports complex. The tentative name of the complex is Sports Hub, and we're still obviously discussing that. If you have another idea, do let us know. Comment comment and tell us whether you've got a brilliant idea for a complex, and we'll take it in and see whether at the end of the day it'll be Read My Game who'll decide on that. So we're gonna have rugby, basketball, MMA. We're gonna have SNC. We will have physio as well, correct?
Yep.
Yeah. Physio.
Yep. So physio. We will also have our. And a lot of people don't know this. We have our meeting rooms upstairs, a small conference room, and we have also dorms and rooms, and of course showers facilities as well. The one thing I'm excited about is obviously all of this, but more importantly, the full usage of the hall for once, instead of it being just for German school, which is one of our tenants, and also badminton, which is quite irregular. So Dre, this is my question to you now. For those who are not well versed with basketball, those who are not well versed with the sport, again, how rugby was seen, very much a minor sport, but what's the uptake in terms of venues in Klang Valley, specifically around the PJ area? And do you feel what are your thoughts about how popular will that sport be once they know that the basketball is going to be at the Cobra complex?
Sure. So I think that in terms of the proliferation of basketball courts in the PJ area to serve the community, there's actually more demand than supply. So right now, talking about the hall, the Sports Hub Hall being a critical addition to that supply, I think it'd be most welcome by the community itself. There's a lot of basketball players in the PJ area, especially with the college just down the way. There's at least 2 other courts which are always fully booked. It takes a month to get on the wait list to get into that court, just a few kilometers down the way. So in terms of like the catchment area that we want to serve, we're definitely going to be able to get that hall filled up with a whole bunch of new people who have never even heard of Cobra Club and get that name in front of a whole lot of people.
Right, you're no stranger to the basketball world, especially in the national scene. Now, we've got this picture. Can you just explain what's going on here with ATB?
That's obviously. I think I forgot what the barber was then, and. I was trying to deal with the fact that I hadn't had a haircut for about 4 months, I think there. That's Coach John Alexander, one of our partners that work with us from the United States. So he runs an excellent program called Global Squad, where he looks for kids around the region, like in Asia and that are outside the US, to give them opportunities to get scholarships, sporting scholarships in the US. So we actually have worked with him specifically to send a whole bunch of kids to his camp. They get in front of ASEAN Top Baller. ATB actually stands for ASEAN Top Baller. They get in front of scouts who can offer them Division I school scholarships, fully paid ride, basically, to go to the US and get a education as well as play the sport that you love. So that's the kind of things that we kind of do with Coach John, and what we try to do in basketball in Malaysia in general. Like it's more, I want sport to be seen more than just a pastime, because it can be so much more. It builds character, it gives you opportunities. And in Malaysia, we've just got to get to that point where people see it beyond just, okay, after high school, okay, we don't go to do sports anymore, that kind of thing.
Okay, that's a great. I'd like to follow up on that, especially with you and TJ, because we've had discussions where now, TJ, apart from being the EXCO for Selangor Rugby Union, you've also been approached by the Selangor Basketball Union. Now, does that excite you, Andre? And also, TJ, just explain to us how beneficial is it to have now, because prior to this, I hear that the Selangor Basketball Union were training in Cheras in Kuala Lumpur and not in his home in Selangor. And now we have an opportunity not only for Dre to bring in basketball, but as a statewide venue, it's something that's going to be beneficial not just to rugby, but to basketball in the state as well. Do you want to tell us a bit about that, TJ?
Well, this was what crossed over during my conversation with the pengarah MSN Negeri Selangor. Like what Dre said just now, the demand is over the supply. And for us to have a good court with a soft, can I say the soft floor? Mm-hmm. So this kind of court are not easily available in Klang Valley. And this is what we can offer to them. In actual fact, it's the Selangor Sukma basketball team. They are looking for a place where they can have a decent ground for them to train. And for us to be able to work together with the Selangor Sports Council, I think we can. It will be a good collaboration that we can do in future, not only on basketball, but it's also on other sports as well, like the rugby. And also, hopefully MMA when it comes along.
Yeah, hopefully when that association goes up and running. Yes.
Actually, with that collaborations, we're going to do a collaboration with a Polytechnic for rugby.
Yeah, Polytechnic Bating.
Yeah, that's something that we've always had a good understanding. We've always had good understanding with police and stuff.
With the improved facilities and also our track record with Cobra. We hope that we are able to get more and more support and also collaboration and friends from all over Klang Valley in terms of other sports as well. Like I was looking at Dre just now with the ATB. Dre, the color is correct, but the wrong logo.
Okay, and now I'm very excited to hear this, because Dre, that is actually very beneficial for those who are actually who will be coming up to, or rather be renting our venue, because once they see that, they notice that the Selangor Sukma team is also training there. What kind of benefits are there to one, to you personally, and two, you've been the GM of KL Dragons. I mean, you guys have all these. I know these pictures all are coming out. So
yeah, I know, right?
Yeah,
I should have paid more attention to how I look.
Andre, the guy next to you is a heartthrob. He's got his own local.
I know.
Color.
I mean, like, why did I have to send next to the guy? I could have sent next to the coach. At least I look a little bit better.
Yeah.
All right, that's Ben, right? Ben Sim, right?
So in terms of identifying talent, you guys have been in, the sport really well, and that's beneficial. It's again cross beneficial to both Sukma and all that. How do you see this kind of tie up, and also in the long run for these guys to have a pathway to either semi-pro or professional basketball?
Sure. So for Sukma and for the development of talent in general, if we're just talking about opening their or looking at different avenues of talent acquisition. Most of the time, if you're within Sukma, whether in your own little community, you generally don't get out of that community to find talent, right? Yeah. And in this case, by having a state association on the ground, we can talk to them about, hey, okay, guys, these are the kinds of people these are the kinds of communities which play the sport. Maybe you want to look over here as well, and being able to facilitate that conversation without even doing anything beyond just say, hey, let's meet and let's have maybe guys come down to the training or to have a friendly or something like that, where they get to meet different people and they get to choose or at least be able to see the level of talent outside their own structure. I think is really important. I mean, from a talent acquisition standpoint, like I said earlier, if we're just looking in one place, you're never going to get the best of Malaysia, right? And not to say that Selangor Sukma is doing that, but by having them train in Cobra, there's different types of communities here and different look at what is available to them who may be athletically inclined and don't really know the sport, maybe a project kind of case where they need to get better, or maybe someone who plays cross-sport functionalities where they play rugby or they play basketball as well, and they may be suitable for the Sukma team. I think from that regard, that's a great boost to Sukma and for us as well. And to also further the idea again to see that, okay, sport can get you, get you in an education, can get you a job, get you out there. It would be great once we can get back to traveling internationally again, where we have Coach John come down, and that now there's a better relationship with a talent pipeline as well. Like in Sukma, I say, okay, we've got college-age kids or kids that will be ready for college in 4 years. Like, who are the guys that we can kind of work on to give them the best opportunity they can by sending them over to Global Squad in the US, right? So we identify them when they're like 13, 14, and we know that we try to bring them along the way till they're ready to go overseas. So that's the kind of relationship that we would love to have with a talent program like Sukma, like the MSN specifically, just so that they understand where that we're part of the ecosystem, that we want to be a contributing member of the ecosystem.
Yeah, okay, that's a good point, because not only will there'll be a bigger pool of talent, it's also another chance for someone like TJ to steal them and bring them to rugby, because we've had cases where we've had netball players and all that have gone over to rugby, which is fine because they're still in the sport now. But let's focus on you, Dylan, because you've brought all these sports together. We'll talk about MMA in a bit, because that's not as important. But yes, the MMA is very much part of this whole deal. But one thing that you were very adamant about, and this is why we talk about this on our show, is not only there's going to be cross sports in the Cobra complex, but the cross culture, meaning that you and I and TJ have always grown up in this environment where it's very, very family-like. I'm sure basketball has the same thing as well, and MMA obviously is slightly different. But you are not only, I think the right word would be growing the rugby culture into, or rather the Cobra culture into our sport, but you are trying to have the same kind of I don't know what's the proper word for it, but the same culture, I suppose, into the other sports at Cobra. So have that kind of not just the winning mentality, but we are all together as one. We're all a team. Is that something that was part of your idea when you moved to this cross-cultural sports?
That's definite. One of the things. I mean, if I go on the days when I was playing ball with Dre, there's a family culture. There was pretty much a family culture. And that's what Cobra Rugby has, is a family culture, and it's also my experience with playing with Flames is almost like at one point playing with Cobra is that you don't get a fair shake from the refs most of the time, or it feels that way. So I wasn't playing in this one.
Well, I love this picture because this is exactly what we do before before rugby match. So
but that's actually before we won the championship in 2017. So that's a good photo. I'll always remember that one.
Yeah. Is that because you've hidden your face, or?
That's my best side, the back, right? That's what I'm looking at.
Okay, yeah, sorry.
I would say that kind of that huddle, would you say that the huddle, you could say, yeah, we see it a lot in rugby, and we have it a lot in basketball. There's also, in MMA, there's also a physical element as well in something like this, but I don't see it as much in say the more popular sports like badminton. Okay, well, badminton is a one-on-one sport. Or football. I don't really see as much of it. It's, I don't know. That's maybe of course, obviously I'm biased, but is that environment, and of course, Flames has that culture, and so I see a lot of similarities. But at the same time, there's one thing that sad to say, in some extent, in the basketball side, there's no edge when it comes to physicality. Yeah, I'll tell you this story. One time we were playing ball, and Dre was telling. He asked me whether it was all right, and I said, "What's wrong? They're being very physical on you." Yeah, they were trying to bump me around and stuff, and I looked at Dre. Were they doing that really, Dre? I didn't understand what Dre was talking about, and obviously that comes from rugby. So,
yeah. We've been accused of, when we're playing football, being too rough, and we're like, no, that's how we normally play. And I understand.
So it's that sort of edge to play through certain conditions, and this is what I think. And I don't know whether it's a rugby thing, also a Cobra thing, but this is where I want to elevate that portion as well when it comes to that basketball culture, and this is where I feel that they can come in.
All right, so you touched upon conditioning. Now, TJ, when it comes to when we're actually playing seriously, when it comes to strength and conditioning and fitness, rugby, and especially at Cobra, there was something, especially in the early years, we were very much, I wouldn't say early years, but in the 2000s, we were very much one of the top teams because of that. It wasn't just because of our talent, but we had talent and also fitness and our teamwork and all that conditioning. Now with the gym, we've always had one thing that I'm going to stress out now. The one thing that our club is so has an advantage is because not only do we have our field, but we have not only we have the bar and restaurant especially for the legends, but the complex is so beneficial to us because we have our facilities, we have our gym, we have our showers, and we had our dorms for some of our imported players and such a case. Now the gym itself is going to be expanded. How excited are you in terms of how our club and in terms of development of rugby will be even more at a higher level, because we're going to have the physio. Of course, we're going to be talking about the strength and conditioning.
Well, the thing is, by us having the extended gym, number one, everybody knows that you must have a certain level of fitness for you to be able to excel in any other sports. be it basketball or be it football or whatever game that you play, you must have the fitness. Now that and the other thing that we must understand that not many clubs or not many teams have the facilities like what we have now. We are fortunate that our senior Cobra members were able to get us the piece of land, and eventually Tan Sri Krishan Tan gave us the complex, IJM, and this is to me a blessing. And now that Read My Game comes in, with the gym, definitely the fitness level of the athletes will improve. And not only that, it's not only on fitness per se, but it's also on internship. We can also bring in the sports science students to the internship in our place, take care of the various teams, like for example, events when we have the basketball competition, when we have the rugby competition, the SNC, and also the physio, where Dr. Nick is going to come in and have his physio. So we actually are going to offer a lot of opportunity, not only to rugby per se, but to other sports as well, and also to other sectors of the sports. So the gym is we are very, very fortunate to have that.
All right. Okay. So because that leads me on to I suppose I'm going to have to talk about MMA now.
Yes.
I just happen to be I just happen to be the president of Malaysia MMA, and obviously 2019 was a very good year for us. Not only did we have our first ever Asian gold medalist, there she is, Colleen Gustin, but she was also the first Malaysian athlete, MMA athlete, to win a medal of any sorts in the World Championships. So first ever to win the bronze in her category, which was the strawweight, and we only sent 3 athletes. One's a junior behind, and unfortunately they didn't get any medals. But Brandon there was a bronze medalist anyway at the Asian, and it was the first time that we've ever gotten this far at the World Championships since its inception 3-4 years ago. Now, one thing I noticed was that our SNC wasn't strong in terms of strength and conditioning. Although they were fighters, in terms of their stamina and all that was to say the least, still wanting. And when this opportunity came along, in terms of wanting to have the sports complex, that's where I approached you, Dylan. And obviously, we've been talking about the complex for years now. But the MMA was a natural. I thought it was a natural progression to have a home for us at Cobra. Me also being part of Cobra. What were your thoughts?
Sorry, before you go on your thoughts, for the viewers, what can you just be a brief Mazma? How is Mazma related to? I mean, within the MMA, because people normally associate MMA with the One Championship or UFC and all that.
Okay, so the One Championship and UFC are professional outfits. Mazma is like FAM. We're the national body for mixed martial arts. We're the FAM, we're the BAM, we're the whatever. I mean, there's a basketball association, then we're MABA. So what we focus more on development of the sport. We're a very young association. We're only 5-6 years old, and I'm in my second year as the president. Actually, officially first year, because they cheated me in the first year. But so our I know, it's just like Cobra, isn't it? You can check out anytime.
Before you think about football.
So our objective is to bring up the sport, not through just through amateur, but through development, through grassroots, and from the kids as well. So for us, having our own home in terms of, or rather having MMA at Cobra, gives us a neutral venue for everyone and anyone, not just for national athletes, but anyone to learn about MMA and also to grow the sport. Plus, also maybe steal a few, basketball players and rugby boys, and vice versa. I think it's going to be beneficial.
Talent, Ray. They want basically translate to basketball as taking the best talent. Come on, guys.
Yeah.
Okay, but I think one thing about MMA, which I discovered, this comes back to the issue of cross culture. Okay.
Yes.
If you look at basketball, rugby. If you look at rugby, yeah, you got some of the biggest and vicious guys on the rugby field. Okay, basically you're out to hurt once you're on the field.
We'll talk about that later.
Once you're on the field, you're out to basically hurt each other. Yeah, it's and similar to MMA, when it comes to a fight sport, right? You're basically out to hurt each other. But then what I noticed is that outside, once you step off the mat, yeah, it's actually some of the nicest and most humble guys on as well. So I find that similarity there, where it's a bit like basketball as well, where all three, I would say, are high stress sports. High stress sports. You're pushed to a certain level physically, mentally, and then once you're after that, it's obviously there's a certain aspect that comes after that where people are generally quite chill. That's, not realizing that just before that you're basically out to destroy each other. So I find this is where MMA can come in, and that's how it kind of relates.
And MMA will benefit in terms of, because there's this stigma of combat sports, BJJ and all that, being very territorial. I think we're going to try and undo that and have a more I wouldn't say family atmosphere, but more team atmosphere within, especially with having basketball there and having rugby there. It would change their mindset so that they will see the sport more as a team thing than anything else. Now, back to the basketball, Dre. You're excited, and we're all excited of having that. Where are we? And we'll talk that with TJ in terms of the preparations for having basketball at this venue. Obviously, you've probably had different venues before where you've prepared and promoted huddle sports or to a venue. What's so different about having this one here at Cobra rather than any other venues that you've had in the past?
I think the number one is that the integration of multiple sports and making it a place that the other venues typically were places where you went there to play and then you left, right? Cobra has the unique ability and facility to be a place where you go, maybe you're dropping your kid off to, for Cobrats, and then you get 2 hours in at the basketball court, and maybe, one of the older brothers are going to the gym to work out, that kind of thing. So there's a real sense of an integrated sports community, which is very different from the other venues that we've worked with and been a part of in the past. Another thing is that with the integration of Huddle, which is our sports platform, to be able to kind of pull everything together. Now everything kind of exists online. So your membership to the facility is online. Everything is, on an app or managed online. This new normal as well, we don't want to be paying cash. So all of that's also cashless transactions. So it's really very different from a lot of the other venues that we've worked with and then rolled this kind of stuff out.
Okay, so is this part of the team that's going to be helping out? This is a different picture.
No. This is definitely a different part. This is from, again, the ASEAN Top Baller. You've got ASEAN Top Baller. We've got another couple of international coaches. You saw just briefly there was right on my left shoulder, that's Coach R.L. Vanguardia, the championship coach for the KL Dragons. Right. Just before I came on, you got Coach Christian and Coach John there as well, and Coach Mark on the far right. So they're all basketball guys. They're all strength and conditioning guys. My co-founders, Reza, the bald dude, now has hair, and the guy with the glasses next to me, right? So they're my co-founders, the co-founders in the company, and they're the guys who will also definitely be involved in this process. I know I've been the one taking all the glory, but they're
all the work.
They're an integral part of this organization as well, definitely.
All right, excellent. We look forward to seeing them on a more regular basis as well. Now, TJ, you've been very much involved in and obviously, actually, everyone has in their sense, but physically involved with renovations yourself and Dylan. Obviously, you won't be coming in like this. Nolly there is our convener. We've talked about this.
Is that a football hat?
I know, that's why I haven't said anything, but it is a football, England football hat. So whether I say football, our convener, the rugby convener, is wearing a England football hat. Now, in terms of the renovations, how has it started, and how far in are we? And of course, yourself and Dylan can answer this.
Well, the thing is, the renovation we started in early October, but that was only on the painting of the basketball hall, the multi-purpose hall, and also we have started work on the changing rooms, our male and female changing rooms. We just recently, next week we're going to start our work on the extension of the gym. Mm-hmm. Which will eventually be the gym on the ground floor and MMA gym on the first floor, right? So hopefully we should be able to complete all this by mid of December. And then once we fit in with all the equipments and everything, I think we should be okay by end of December, barring any obstacles or any other issues.
Yeah.
So hopefully by by a month of January next year, we should be able to kick off.
Okay, so
and, I understand that before that, Dylan and Andri wants to have some personal basketball sessions on the court.
You got to test it out. We got to make sure everything is legitimate. That's what
I see.
Toys and their toys.
The benefits of having the court to yourself prior to the actual launch. Now, Dylan,
before we get go ahead, try.
I know there's people don't feel excitement because they don't see it. Now we're talking about it because it's been kept quiet for so long. How excited are you in terms of having three of your, I wouldn't say your favorite sports, but three sports that you are very much involved in, and we'll probably see a lot more of you at the club now because of that anyway, on top of the days that we were there for training. Yes, of course. But, how excited are you of seeing this now? And two, is this going to help bring more people into the club?
I think, you talk about excitement. Yeah, I'm definitely excited.
Can you tell?
Oh, sorry?
I said, can you tell? Look at his face. He's so excited.
Yeah, I know. It's like the cat that got his scream.
No, it's, what do you call it? One of the things for doing this is obviously one of the main reasons for me to do this is also for the club. Okay, one of the main essence is that the club has contributed to my development as a person. Yeah, playing and it's not just from the sport itself, but from the community. I've benefited from the community. It's basically like TJ, yourself, the whole community. I've benefited from just being around the environment. Yeah, the environment sort of keeps you to a certain level that allows you to, but it puts you in check more often than not. You need checks and balances, and it's provided that for me. And this is one of the things, and I want to put an environment here, of course, and I've tried any other sports. I want to put all that and grow that environment pretty much. So I find that Cobra has a lot to share, or there's a lot of value in it, not just. And I don't want to keep it just within what you call Cobra Rugby Club. It's got to go. I feel that it can benefit out, which is one of the reasons and which drives me to do this. You want to. Sometimes one of the goals in life, you want to see whether you can make a positive contribution to society, and this is one of the ways to do it. And that's why. And thankfully, I would say like a blessing. There's the three of you lot that's on the road with me here, and then we'll drag everybody else along this ride as well.
Everyone being dragged as we go along and on.
And I can hear you guys. I don't know whether you're screaming or laughing along, but and one of the things as well is I want it to be a place where, well, I mean, I got two boys, 13 years old and 10 years old. All right, I want them to have a similar environment, you know, as they grow up as well. Which is, you know, it's like I've had seniors from the Cobra that's looked out for me. Now this is the way that is going forward, and you know, going forward as well is that you have to learn to adapt with how the younger people communicate. Some of them type better than they talk. So,
that's true.
This mobile first world, you know, so that's you got to figure out all that, and this is how going forward. It's not, you can't be that old guy sitting by the corner like, you know, when I was young, you know, I don't want to go along that route.
We will, trust me, it will happen. Now, a quick hello to Duncan Wong in Australia. Hi, Duncan. Hope you're doing well. Now, Dre, this is probably around the final question, but how excited is the community about having a venue, a new venue, and also, I mean, we've talked about the multi venue, but having another best basketball venue that's, I mean, the size isn't, you know, FIBA, but how excited are they about having a venue that's going to be, well, it's really going to be different to a lot of venues that they're used to.
Yep. So the venue, the court itself will be a FIBA regulation court. So that is FIBA regulation, the sizing, the 3-point line, the rim. So that's all FIBA regulation, obviously. And of course, I know we've got some plans for how we can make it a lot cooler with some of the technology that we want to put in there as well as time goes on. But from a community standpoint and how excited they're going to be when, number one, like I said, with demand totally outstripping supply, they'll really be excited to have is a court that offers, you know, the convenience of having a court. Because one of the things is Cobra Club's right smack dab in the middle of PJ, where, you know, you've got that accessibility. It's just down the road from a LRT. It's, you know, got ample parking around the spot. So there's definitely a place where, from a community and how people are going to want to see it as an ideal venue, I think it ticks all the right boxes. Is right there. And once they get to see the kind of things that we want to do on the court as well, with the technology and how they're going to be, how easy it is for them to be a part of that, I think they're going to be really excited. I don't want to let too much out of the bag right now, but it's definitely going to be something that they're going to want to be a part of.
All right, that's excellent. Now, TJ,
Cobra legend, famous for White Sox. He says he was a baller back in the day.
Oh, we'll see.
Yeah. So I'm eager to see him go on the court and show his skills.
Yeah. Then he can play with his White Sox, and it doesn't matter. Now, TJ, how excited are you about stealing more? I mean, sorry, about having having.
Don't say that, Red.
No, sorry.
Don't call it the cat bag.
About having, especially for the women's. I mean, women's rugby. Our Superman girls. How beneficial is it for them to? I mean, they're already there, and in the past we've had this development. Will it spur more development for rugby in our, not just our club, but in our state of Selangor?
Yep. Actually, what we are hoping is that our Cobra can become the center of excellence for rugby, and that will be the focal point for the rugby, not only for the women but also for the men's side, for the state teams. Now, our women team has been training in Cobra since 2018, so until now. And along the way, 2017 up to 2019, the national team was there as well. So I'm very, very excited, and we hope that, you know, whatever that we are doing now will spur the development in future, and especially when Dre brings in the women's team, I'll just see how they train. That's all.
You'll be watching them like a hawk, like here. Are you looking forward to going back on the field as well?
Oh, oh my goodness! So Dre, you know, there's a lot of lovely things, right? You're not the only one here.
We're also looking forward to our legends coming back, because this is a good sight to see them out, especially in the 50th Cobra 10s next year. Hopefully, when everything is fine, we'll see these two gentlemen as well joining you for a nice evening out.
Actually, having said that, Bruce's boy Zach, I think Zach was
Zach.
I think the older one, Zach.
I think Zach's the older one, isn't he?
I'm not sure. His boys, the boys, they play multiple sports, and basketball is one of the sports he plays actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw his short form when he was at the club for the Cobra 10 minis last year. His short form is pretty much a proper basketball short form as well. I got a question for both Dre and TJ, so Rad as well. That would you say, like, we have? There's the cultural aspects. Of obviously, there's the talent sharing. Rugby is going to benefit. Each three sports is going to benefit from each other, and especially where you get, you're not confined to just like, okay, for 4 months I'm committed to the KRS League. I'll play in the KRS League. Okay, then just after that, there's a basketball league coming up. I'll do my recovery playing basketball, and then there's another one. I'm just gonna focus. I can't put impact on my knees. I'll just focus on jiu-jitsu for the next couple of months. So there's a lot of these kind of things that can go on. But all three of you, would you say having a multi-sport environment, and then you have three diverse groups in one place? Yeah, do you actually think that it's pretty much? Would people be more motivated to perform and excel? That spark to perform and excel, because one of the reasons why you want to do this is pretty much you want to get better. You want, so much like, read my game. This is my game. I can do, that sort of thing. So, what do you guys think? What are your thoughts on that? Who do we start with? Yeah.
For me specifically, I'm a firm believer in, at least from a development standpoint, of multi-sport involvement, because different movements, it's very, actually, there's science that proves this specifically, that for young athletes to have involvement in multiple sports and multiple disciplines actually helps them form their movement styles a lot better. It avoids injury, and also gives them a greater respect for the game that they may choose in the end, right? And some of the great multi-sport athletes, like the Bo Jacksons, who can play baseball and basketball, or Deion Sanders, who plays football and basketball. These kind of guys who, in my experience, have always been great, spectacular athletes. From a motivation standpoint, if anything, I can always point to, for the people who are playing basketball who complain about being shoved a little bit, I can point them up to I'd say, if you want to charge your phone at your phone charge station, right? You're going to have one at your phone charge station, Rat. You can say, go wrestle with those guys first before you come back here. You know what I mean? Or, in that respect, it's definitely something that they get to see and get to be motivated by other sports and how they take certain things differently, right? Contact for definitely is different from basketball, but I think the basketball players' appreciation for certain things and the fluidity of the game is also something that you can teach along the way to other people as well. So that kind of inter-sport relationship, I think, will definitely motivate people. I also honestly think that if there is any poaching going on, they're all going to choose basketball anyway. But no, I joke, I kid. But realistically, if there is poaching going on, it will be something that is going to be mutually beneficial. I mean, there will be people who will choose to play a certain sport because it's available to them, and they may not have known that entry into the sport even existed. You know what I mean? So now they get this opportunity, and that's a huge deal for development.
TJ?
Well, I must say that like Dre have said most of the things that I wanted to say. But the only thing that I'm going to tell Dre and also Rashid is, you are entering into the Cobra Cobra Club. Our rules apply.
Oh, okay.
You don't have to tell me, TJ. You don't have to tell me.
No, I'm going to tell you for you to tell your MMA guys.
Of course.
The Cobra rules apply. We will list down all the do's and don'ts, and be prepared.
Yeah, this is usually out, off field, off court, off ring, off cage kind of rules. Not on court, on cage, in boxing ring rules.
You cannot excuse yourself for not doing that.
Oh dear. Okay, so I mean, for me, yes, exactly what Dre and TJ are saying. But also, I think when you said stuff about we have that on 4 months to do the rugby league, and then 4 months of doing 3 or 4 months doing basketball. In fact, you could have the rugby players even applying, say, can we have a team and take part in the basketball league? So as part of their training, part of their they'll probably be a bit more aggressive than the basketball guys, but it'll be good for them to have a different sport where they can keep fit and not be bored because of his rugby, because that's something that now gives us another opportunity, another avenue for them to stay fit and enjoy and keep it all within the complex itself. I mean, like you said, there'll be guys who just wanna who want to do MMA, boxing. They let out some steam. Basketball guys want to let out some steam. Go ahead and be part of that membership and go and punch a few bags and twist and turn in BJJ as well. So there are many avenues for them to let out steam, and not necessarily being poached or anything, but it's great of having all that in one venue. That's the most thing. And plus, we'll have a bar and restaurant. So you're gonna have a one-stop area. I mean, it's like if someone put McDonald's there, I'd be even more happier. Or actually, we won't. Yes,
we have something coming up, Red. Don't worry.
Yeah, we do. Okay,
yep.
Right. Anyway, now on that note, thank you very much, gentlemen. You've been a whole ball of information for us, because it's something that we've always wanted to discuss and also promote to our audiences. And it's not just for the live audiences, but there's definitely going to be a heck of a lot of post clicks with our shows as well. So this is the first time that we've actually talked about it. We've actually promoted it to the masses, and I hope that this will only start a bigger momentum. And obviously, we will have our own separate promotion to get all those sports into the Cobra Sports Hub. If you guys out there think you have a better name, do let us know. Write it down. Send us a comment. Yes.
I have to state, Dre, congratulations. I think you are the first non-rugby sports guy to have a poster on a rugby club.
Oh, wow. I feel honored.
Oh,
I'm
yes,
afraid
that's
what
right.
that also means, though. I'm not sure whether not suddenly all the rules apply to me, too. That I'm going to have a hard time keeping that straight.
Non-rugby. Well, Dylan, yours is a non-rugby poster as well.
Yeah, but I'm a rugby guy.
I know, but I'm just saying this is a non-rugby poster as well. FYI, and here as well. There's some. No, okay, we're all rugby guys. Okay, yeah, you're the first non-rugby person, but
I love it. Appreciate it.
Much better photo. Much better photo.
That's the best photo I take up.
I'm glad you chose that one as opposed to the ATV one. That's all I'm saying.
Yes, and finally, and talk about cross sports. We know one rugby guy who is who does both MMA and there he is, Ayong. So
putting the beat down and that
national champion and national rugby player. So there we go. And we hope to be able to see him more often at the Cobra Rugby Club in 2021. If 2020 was, God, I don't know how to describe 2020, but let's hope and let's pray for 2021 to be a much better year. I think it's already starting to be a much better end of the year for us. And I look forward to seeing, those different sports being played out at Cobra Rugby Club. Congratulations, gentlemen. I know there's a long road to go, but it's a start of hopefully a very fruitful relationship between rugby, basketball,
PJ,
MMA.
Your eyes sparkling, thinking of the potential.
For Kangaroo Court, yeah.
Not only basketball, I'm also looking at MMA as well.
Oh dear.
Trust TJ.
So from all of us here at Cobra TV, thank you very much, gentlemen. Thanks TJ, thanks Dre for being our guest. Those of you out there, obviously there's no rugby and no training until further notice. Look out for all the promotions that will be coming out for the Cobra Sports Hub, and we look forward to seeing you 2021. But from now on, do stay safe. Hey, hello Saye, who's in Germany, just woken up. Yeah.
Good morning.
So and hi to Aizan as well.
And happy birthday, Izan.
And there we go. There's Stuart. You're supposed to be sleeping. So Stuart, quick hello for you from in Australia as well. TJ's here. Bota is on way. I don't know. Oh, Bota is on. So that's two for TJ lah. So yeah, they're just waking up. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Stuart, for watching. And yes, we're the Big Snakes. We look forward to seeing you, Saye, try out some MMA or basketball, since you keep talking about these kind of sports. And from all of us here at Cobra TV, thank you very much for watching. We'll see you again for the next edition on Cobra TV. Bye-bye.
Thank you.